Good afternoon, wonderful and excellent future special education teachers. This is Dr. George Kingsley Hewen Jr. with Week Two's lecture. And I also wanted to take this time to speak a little bit about our announcements as well. Um, Thank you so much for getting through week one. I know it was probably a little bit difficult in the sense that you're juggling two classes, but definitely keep up the good work. And in my announcements, I said just try to find some balance when it comes to reading, posting, and then studying as well. And I think that's going to be very important for you to find that balance moving forward, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful in this class. And what that time and that balance is going to look like, it's all different because we're all on different schedules when it comes to working, commuting, and maybe some other commitments that we have outside of school. So, like I said, find that balance because I think it's going to be very important moving forward, and especially if you're taking two classes this summer. Um, it was a pleasure reading your discussion board posts and your introductions, and you guys are doing some wonderful and excellent things at your individual schools. So I'd say keep up the good work and continue to stay positive in the sense that I know many of you are probably looking for jobs now, and I did get a chance to hear back from a few who did decide to attend the instructional job fair. So I would say this is a word of encouragement. Keep your resumes ready and your cover letters ready to go because there's going to be a lot of shifting this summer in the sense that people are going to be retiring, maybe moving, and things like that. So you want to have that information readily available. And then when a position does open, I would say to basically find out who the educational leader is over the special education department at that individual school. And that's the person that you're going to want to reach out to because that person, can, definitely set up resumes and things like that. So if there's any other questions that you may have when it comes to applying for positions, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Now, back to the discussion board post. It's really important moving forward in this class that you try to start posting your your initial discussions on no later than Tuesday evening, because that will give your classmates and you ample time to respond to other discussion board posts. And I know that we're going to be doing things different in the sense that I'm asking you to basically support your stance or your position with at least two research-based articles. And I think this is going to be very important for you because you're going to be in positions where you're going to be speaking to your principals and other educational leaders, and especially parents. And while your opinion and your observations and things like that may be good, just having a research to support and to back up your findings is going to be very important. And I think this is also true for those of you who are going to be moving into the master's program once you complete this teacher license component of these graduate classes. So again, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. And again, with the discussion board posts, it's really not helpful if you're making a discussion board post on, a Friday or a Saturday even, because, the conversation has already begun throughout the week. And, it's very important that you basically stay engaged with the reading and the discussion board posts throughout the week, because this is where, you're getting the meat of, the conversations, and there's some good conversations going on. And I think, if you're posting your initial post on a Friday or a Saturday, then you're kind of doing yourself and your classmates a disservice. Now, the discussion board post for this week has been posted, and what you're going to do is basically find a local special education teacher, and you're going to interview them with regards to some of the changes when it comes to law and special education this week. And that's that local teacher, it says local, but if it's a teacher that's outside of the state of Virginia, that's perfectly fine. If it's a teacher here in Fairfax, Arlington, Manassas, Hampton, wherever you have a friend that's a special education teacher and you want to interview them, that's perfectly fine. I'm not setting any limits to where you can and where you can't go. All right. So, again, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of your readings when it comes to special education law. And I'm just going to stick to the first law in the Rowley case. Rowley was a kindergarten student who was deaf. And this is one of the first cases that the Supreme Court actually took up. This was the first special education court that the Supreme Court took up. And again, just a little bit of background. Raleigh was a kindergarten student, and she was deaf, and both of her parents were deaf. And the school did try to put things in place when Raleigh was in kindergarten. For example, before the kindergarten year started, they actually sent a few teachers to get some professional development in sign language. And Raleigh was basically included with a lot of her non-disabled peers. But the thing that got the parents a little bit upset or caused them to have concern was that they didn't have this, or the school didn't provide what you would call a certified sign language teacher. And and this was a concern for the parents, and the school district consulted with the handicap, and that's not a term that we use anymore. They consulted with the handicap committee outside of the school, and the committee basically said, we don't need to hire a full-time certified what am I looking for? What word am I looking for? The sign language teacher. And it was a lot of back and forth. Please forgive me as I'm trying to remember all these things. And it was a lot of back and forth. And essentially the case went all the way to the Supreme Court. And that's how, everything was ultimately decided. So as we look at, some of the things, and you're looking at some of the cases when it comes to special education, I want you to start thinking about a lot of these acronyms that you're going to be hearing, because these acronyms are from court cases and historical court cases. And I'm just thinking of, a term of the manifestation determination, right? What does that mean? So students with IEPs, we can no longer just kick them out of school, right? If a student has an IEP and you want to remove that kid from a school, well, you're going to have to go through this, what we call a due process. In a committee of individual consultation and collaboration, they're going to sit down and decide if what the student did was initially tied to his or her disability, right? And if it wasn't, then the case can be dismissed. All right. There's some other essential acronyms that I want you to start thinking about. ESY is another one of them, right? So what does that mean? And a lot of people have worked ESY. So, parents can opt to basically have their kids go to school all year round, so they're not losing basically a lot of the information that was gained throughout the school year, and it's free, right? And so what does a free and appropriate education school district look like, right? Why is it important to have a transition plan for for each student, right? Why are these IEPs updated every year, and why does the committee come together to determine if goals are appropriate? Think about the least restrictive environment. You're going to hear that a lot, right? And then think about the present level of performance, right? All of these things are important, and all of these things are tied to basically historical cases. So as you're reading this week, and as you get ready to interview your local teacher, and as you get ready to write your case study, start thinking about all of these, or some of these acronyms at least, and think about how it ties, or how a court case basically led to the specific new components of special education. Look forward to seeing you this week and working with you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.